just something about the way she moves. I can't figure it out. It's something about her. It's like, ooh, it's something about kind of woman that wants you but don't need you. Hey, I can't figure it out. It's something about her. Cause she walk like a boss, talk like a boss, manicure and nails or something pedicure off. She's fly effortlessly, and she move like a boss, do what a boss do. She got me thinking about getting involved. That's the kind of girl I need. She got her own thing, that's why I love her. Miss Independent, won't you come and spend a little time? She got her own thing, that's why I love her. Miss Independent, ooh, the way you shine. Miss Independent.
Me cocky longer than me night. Tell me what you like. You want me try or you want to ride it like a bike?
Well, you have to ram it hard. The cocky no for life. Damage it for spot.
Welcome.
So put it on the left. Can you take it?
Make sure you please share this. Share the live.
White titty appetite. Every nipple get a bite.
My man have to go seat me and him have to go fight. Call me have to wine pon the cocky like this. Cartel spin me like a satellite dish.
Deal with your breast like because she Irish. I never love a pussy like this.
You are my mister.
You are my miss.
Kill me with the cocky.
Kill me with the tightness. And when you walk out, whisper something like this.
I can't stop fucking you.
Hey, cocky no play. Me we broke your back. When you come in our
Welcome to the book release
we quint it up 2 times and pop your cock.
when you come in
by Keisha Star.
me we make you run out of me house. In a heart.
You're making me go crazy.
I can live a right on it and give your heart attack.
When you come in around
I go by the name of DJ P Drama. Make sure you follow Keisha Star on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Come on.
It's not good enough for me since I've been with you. Ooh. It's not gonna work for you. Nobody can equal me. I'm gonna sip on this drink when I fucked up. I should know how to pick this. I'm gonna catch the
I hope you got your signature Jamaican Me Go Crazy cocktails.
I had enough combo for 24.
We're going to rock out for 30 minutes. Then we're going to continue on with the program. Come on.
You are unforgettable. I need to get you alone. Why not? Good time never hurt nobody. I got a little drink, but it's not my party. If you love the girl, then I'm so sorry. I gotta give it to her like the end of marriage. Oh, like the end of hurry. No, tell nobody. You're on your level too. Tryna do what love is.
Feeling like I'm fresh out boost. If they want the drama, got the ooze. Ship the whole crew to the cruise ship. Dude, you don't even see a move. Ride with me, boss. I got a hard head, but her soft. She want the last name with the ring on it. Cause I pulled out $1 million cash, told her plank on it.
You are unforgettable. I won't get you alone. Now you want choose. Just pop the bubbly in the cool. It's not good enough for me since I've been with you. It's not gonna work for you. Nobody can equal me.
Breakfast in bed, darling. I got your bed.
We just warming up.
I make you bed for it. I make you bed.
Jamaican Me Go Crazy book release party. Come on.
I got your bed for it.
Make sure you get your drinks ready. We're going to have a good time, baby. Come on.
But now you leave me calling.
And she said,
I heard you got a new girlfriend, and it's hurting me. I heard you got a new girlfriend, and it's hurting. Yeah, it's hurting. Yeah, it's hurting me.
I don't know if you could take it. No, you wanna see me naked, naked, naked. I wanna be a baby, baby, baby.
Once again, make sure you stick around. We got a whole lot of cash prizes and giveaways. We're going to talk about the book, Jamaica Me Go Crazy, by Keisha Starr.
Cause I can into things that I'm gonna do. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 thoughts. Wow, wow, wow. When I'm with you, all I get is wild thoughts. Wow, wow, wow. When I'm with you, all I get is wild thoughts.
Let's go.
I hope you know I'm for the taking. You know this cookie's for the bag. Kitty, kitty, baby, get her things to rest. Like the 68 Jets. Diamonds are nothing when I'm rocking with you. Diamonds are nothing when I'm shining with you. Just keep it white and black as if I'm your sister. I'm too hip to hop around, time to hit with you. I know I get wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 thoughts. Wow, wow, wow. When I'm with you, all I get is wild thoughts. Wow, wow, wow. When I'm with you, all I get is wild thoughts.
You gotta go and get angry at all of my honesty. You know I try, but I don't do too well with apologies. I hope I don't run out of time, cause someone call a referee. Cause I just need one more shot, have forgiveness. I know you know that I made those mistakes maybe once or twice. And by once or twice, I mean maybe a couple of 100 times. So let me redeem or myself tonight. Cause I just need one more shot, second chances. Yeah. Is it too late now to say sorry? Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh, is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now?
Once again, welcome to the book Celebration by Keisha Starr. Make sure you check out the website, extraordinary.com, extraordinary.com. Who's in the chat? What you drinking on? Put it in the chat what you drinking on. Come on.
Got somebody, she is a beauty, very special, really and true.
And what she do?
Take good care of me, like it's her duty. While you ride by my side, ride and pray. No letting go, no holding back, because you are my lady. When I'm with you, it's all I want. Girl, I'm so glad to see you.
Woman, get busy. Just say that booty non-stop.
Tell me what you're drinking on. Tell me what you're drinking on in the chat.
Get jiggy, get drunk up, percolate. Anything you want, we call it oscillate.
What?
Want to see you get live on the rhythm of my ride and my lyrics up my body like.
Who drinking Jamaican rum punch right now? Who drinking Jamaican rum punch right now?
Know your destiny. Yo, sexy.
So you drinking Jamaican rum punch? Put Mary in the chat. Put Mary in the chat.
War with us. In the club, them want flex with us. To get next with us, them can't vex with us. From the day my bond, I ignite my flame. Girl, I call my name and it is my fame. It's a good girl, turn me on till the early morning. Let's get it on, let's get it on till the early morning, girl. It's a good, just turn me on, girl. Don't sweat it, don't get agitated, girl. Go and rotate, cause anything you want, you know you must get it. Coming in my mention, don't ease the tension, girl. Run the program, just go and fit it. Yo, have a good time, girl. Free up on the mind, cause nobody can't this your man, go let it. Cause you are the number one, girl. Wave your hand, let them see the...
I am blessed. I am blessed.
Somebody said they just drinking ginger ale.
I am blessed.
Who said drinking ginger ale?
When I wake up in the morning and I lay my head to rest.
That's right, Kelly. You gotta make a drink. You gotta make a drink.
I am blessed.
What?
Let me praise God straight. Make money, money haters, fun bad mind. God knows me love woman. Me father him, that's why me born. And enough of them a try stop me fly past them straight. Funny for them a wicked, so what them in a rate. You know them want back the little food from me plate, but I got over devil a help with them straight. I am blessed. I am blessed. Every day of my life I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning.
If you got an adult beverage you're drinking on right now, type 1 in the chat. Type 1 in the chat.
Jump again. I'm drinking, I'm drinking, I'm drinking, I'm drinking.
What you drinking on? Tell me what you're drinking on. Come on.
I'm drinking rum and Red Bull.
What?
And you see, let me heart full. Them want me get awful, like them on the dance, I'll get grappled. And I'm rum and Red Bull. And you see, let me heart full. Them want me get awful, like them on the dance, I'll get grappled.
We start the day with a flask cranberry with ice in a glass. As the light can't find me, me last. Like me one a liquor, cause me and me one boss. Drink for junk that me endorse. After the flask, then we move to the quad.
If you chill with your best friend right now, put your arm around your best friend. Put your arm around your best friend.
Me nah sell out my friend, nah go this my friend. Be a blessing, me son. Please your guide and protect them. Nah sell out my friend, nah go this my friend. Be a blessing, me son. Please your guide and protect them. Me and my friends now are finna NSC. Cause my friends them know we no pre-bad energy. Cargo rise make menacy. And burn out bad mind, dirty heart and jealousy. Good friend better than pocket kind. So me keep my...
Make sure you share this live. Share this live. Please do not start a watch party. Just share the live.
Nah sell out my friend. Nah but this my friend. Be a blessing me son. Please your guide and protect them. Nah sell out my friend. Nah but this my friend.
With my ladies that can dance. With my ladies that can whine. If you can whine, put 2 in the chat. Put 2 in the chat.
XOXO, my love is very special. If you want it, you can have
Once again, it's a celebration.
Take me for granted. So much,
We celebrate You're Making Me Go Crazy too.
much things I do.
The book released
I'm from
by Keisha Starr.
Hey, we can do it on that beat.
And everybody just
tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Broke it, set it, broke it, set it, broke it, set it, broke it, set it. Back shot, somehow you got extra. Forget me not when it's sweet. What you say?
Fever, why you punani?
Fine for me, baby, everything crisp. My good love make you turn and twist.
Fever, why you punani?
Fine for me, baby, everything crisp. My good love make you turn.
Him say party up like Hulk up, party up like Hulk up. One month a share of my jeans them work. Raving healthy we vibe down low. Him say party shot like 116. Them call me the raving king. Touch a small girl, show me love, and I tell me my sweet like fudge. Him say party shot like 1 STD. Girl them a wine for me, yeah. How we have the style where them love them watch we like MTV. Alright, as me reach me see gal pan head top, swear me no one go a bit back.
once again, make sure you stick around. We got a whole lot of cash prize, giveaways, and books.
Me go circle round a one part. Me a girl a show those free real bars. Do all hot grab a bus inna me head. Believe me say a lot. Say party shot like 116. Them call me the raving king. queen. You just small girl, show me love, and I tell you must be like what.
Girl, me want to hold you, put me arms right around you. Can you give me the tightest hold me ever get seen in my life? Can me want to just squeeze you, put me thing right around you. Can you give me the tightest hold me ever get seen in my life? Oh, behind them try me no care. We take it anytime, anywhere. In the square, so me no care. And as a woman, I will be there. Me want a girl ready to take care of me. Me want a girl wine from me really good. I make it feel it. Show me that you can learn.
Do you know how it feels to wake up with someone that you love? It feels so real. My angel was sent from above. I like to see.
Where my Hennessy drinkers at? Where my Hennessy drinkers at?
In her eyes.
If you drink Henny, put Henny in the chat. Put Henny in the chat.
I don't wanna change. I don't wanna change. I don't wanna change her love. I wanna change.
Make sure you purchase a book. If you ain't got the book, make sure you purchase the book.
But feelings first, baby girl. You're my world, no other girl. I just wanna make this last forever. My queen, she's next to me. She's next to me. I need her loving feel. Her loving feel. Just stay right by my side. Just you and I. Just you and I.
DJ P Drama. P Drama love life. I love my life. P Drama love life. DJ P Drama love life. I may say we love life, sure. No, we don't know what tomorrow might bring, cause the future, the hours away. P Drama live film life today. We might live film life today. Yeah.
Where my people that love life? If you love life, put life in the chat. Type life in the chat if you love life.
We might live film life today. P Drama, make us sing it out. P Drama, love life. P Drama, love life. DJ P Drama, love life. Say my live film life today. P Drama, love life. P Drama, love life. DJ P Drama, love life.
I feel free. I'm all over my dudes and we just bought the bar. I feel free. Shorty looking at me cause you know I'm a star. I feel free. I'm in the club and I'm trying to get right. I feel free. Most of all cause I got life. I feel free. Send 3 more bottles to table 5. We buying at the bar. We living out life. We getting alright. Shorty's watching us. We locking on the club cause we straight dangerous. Me and my dudes. Me and my crew. We locking this.
Once again, make sure you stick around. We got a whole lot of giveaways to give out.
We shutting this shit down. I feel free. I'm all over my dudes and we just bought the bar. I feel free. Shorty looking at me cause she know I'm a star. I feel free. I'm in the club and I'm trying to get right. I feel free. Most of all cause I
money fall on you, banana fall on you, Prada fall on you, cause I'm in love with you. Money fall on you, banana fall on you, paparazzi follow you, cause I'm in love.
And what you say?
Are you done talking? Tell me, baby, are you done talking? Yeah. Are you done talking?
Make sure you share the live. Please share the live.
Yeah. Are you done talking? Tell me, baby, are you done talking? Yeah. Are you done talking? Tell me, baby, are you done talking? Yeah. I don't wanna be a player no more. Yeah. I don't wanna be a player no more. Cause my guys call me Cristiano, Mr. Ronaldo, I'm on Nintendo. Cause my guys call me Cristiano, Mr. Ronaldo, I'm on Nintendo. If I tell you, say I love you, oh. My money, my body, now your own, oh baby. 30 billion for the account, yo. Yeah. Versace and Gucci for your body, oh baby. No do, gotta for me. No do, say that, oh. No do, shakara, oh. No do, gotta for you, oh.
alone, I'm in a choco. Baby, alone, I'm in a choco. Baby, alone, I'm in a choco. Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hand never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter.
It's a celebration, baby.
Angelina,
who got a drink in the hand? Who got a drink in the hand?
Oh, me all dog. Anytime when I see you for the club or the television, your body. Sure you know safety when you carry 50 kill somebody. You know I feel a vibe, you feel a vibe, so baby whine about me. Yeah, and I know you shy, but it's cool when we're making love. On the low, 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 on the low.
I care for you more than my own self. Darling, I'll share with you all goodness and wealth. Said we can have just one night, or we can have one whole life if we play it cool. Yeah, we can have that one thing, or we can have that.
Okay, I see Kelly. You got that strawberry daiquiri. Okay.
Girl, slow down. Girl, let me love you. Slow down. Let me get to know you.
Trips that you plan for the next whole week. Bands too long for so cheap and your flex so D and sex so D. You got it, girl, you got it. Hey. You got it, girl, you got it. Yeah. Pretty little thing, you got a bag and now you wildin'. You just took it off the line, no mileage. Way they hitting you, the DM looking violent. Talking while you come around and now they silent. Blue the coupe at 17, no guidance. You be staying low, but you know what the price is. Ain't never got you know it being modest. Poppin' shit, but only cause you know you poppin', yeah. You got it, girl, you got it. Hey. You got it, girl, you got it.
No, baby, and I'm back and I'm working. No, 9 to 5, put the work in. Laws and all, I love them all. To me, you're perfect. Baby girl, you got it, girl. You got it, girl. You got it, girl. You got it, girl. I don't wanna play no games, but I don't give you my last name. I know you tired of the same damn thing. That's okay, cause baby, you
got it, girl, you got it. You got it, girl, you got it.
everybody get your roll on. I know shorty and she doesn't want no slow song. Had a man last year, life goes on. Haven't let the thing loose, girl, in so long. You been inside, know you like to lay low. I've been people what you bringing to the table. Working hard, girl, everything paid for. First, last phone bill, car, no cable. With your phone out, gotta hit them angles. With your phone out, snapping like you Favo. And you showing off, but it's alright. And you showing off, but it's alright. It's a short life, yeah. That's a real one in your reflection. Without a follow, without a mention. You really piping up on these. You gotta be nice for what to these. I understand. You got 100 bands. You got a baby Benz. You got some bad friends. High school pics. You was even bad then. You ain't stressing off no lover. Pack pants. Work at 8 a.m. Finish round 5. All down, you don't see them outside. Yeah, they don't really be the same offline. You know dog days, you know hard times. Doing overtime for the last month. Saturday, call the girls, get them gassed up. Gotta hit the club, gotta make that jump. Gotta hit the club like you hit them.
right now.
Angles with your phone out, snapping like you Fable. And you showing off, but it's alright. You showing off, but it's alright.
Right now.
I get it how I live it. I live it how I get it. Come to motherfucking bitches. I pull it with a lemon. Not cause she ain't living. It's just your eyes get acidic. And this ain't a scrimmage. We ain't finished. I told you we won't stop. By the business. Like yours, but you're renting. Way the low to the top. The bay wrong glide. Tell the paparazzi get the lens right. Got the window down top blown live. Got the hazard on the doom fire. You could catch me, breathe in the new Ferrari. And the truck behind me got all. Yeah, longer than the palm. Just waiting for
me. We got some time to two-step. Let me see that two-step. Show me that two-step, baby. And it goes like,
you make me happy. This you can bear. You stood right beside me, yeah, and I won't forget. And I really love you.
If you need to copy the book, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat.
I want to make sure I'm right, boy, before I let go. Yeah. Now we had a good time that we can say we hurted each other, yeah. And boy, it's a shame. I won't be foolish, no.
Make sure, please share this. Please share the live. Please share the live.
I want to make sure I woke up Chris Breezy. Oh my God, I'm the man. I'm so fly and I can dance. There's tattoos on my neck. I just FaceTime Kanye. I told him I'm his biggest fan, yeah. Got all these in my DM. Yeah, I do. Hold up. Holy, I got a kid. Oh, I can sing so well. Wonder if I can say the N-word. Wait, can I really say the N-word? What up, my winner? What up, my winner? Big ups, my winner. We are my winner. You stupid little winner. Forget y'all winners. Cause I'm that winner. I'm that winner. I woke up in Chris Brown's body. So how this shit turned into Freaky Friday?
Once again, make sure you follow Keisha Star on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Also, check out the website extraordinary.com.
It's Freaky Friday. I'm in Chris Brown's body.
Since we talk about Jamaican, we go crazy too. Let me set y'all back in the mood.
Give it to me, do it to me, give it to me. Don't stop.
Who's drinking rum punch? The
way you make me feel from deep down in my soul, I'm losing all control. Girl, I can't fight this feeling. Feels so right. Champagne and candlelight, the way you hold me tight. Girl, I can't fight this feeling. Oh no.
Woman, you're nice. Smile on your face is like you're right upon the night. Girl, me can't wait to give you everything you like. Hope you from the day your Christmas sight. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied. Don't be afraid to break the rules. And to better things, so tell the little man to cool. I'm the lucky star, I can't believe I found the jewel. And them all ask what you wanna do. So make them know that me have the tool.
The way you make me feel from deep down in my soul, I'm losing all control. Girl, I can't fight this feeling. It feels alright.
Where my Bears fans at? If you're a Bears fan, type Bears in the chat. Type Bears in the chat.
I can't fight this feeling. I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms, dancing to a reggae song. Feel good.
We're about to introduce the host of the Moses in a little bit.
Loud, and only I can talk about.
Make sure your cups is full.
Feel good.
feel like velvet rubbing over my skin. And when your hair dances under my chin, wish we were alone, baby, just the two of us. Yes, every move you make gives me a rush. Oh, oh. Wine some more, show me that love unconditionally. Make believe we're alone.
There we go. I'd like to introduce to you the hostess, the mostest. Give it up for Keisha Star.
Hey everybody. I'm waiting for everybody. We have Victoria in. Let me add everyone in. Hey, Tom.
What up, y'all?
Yeah, we on. Let's go. Okay, hi, Zane. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine. Yeah. Okay, so we about to just get started. I want to thank everyone for. Thank you all for being here. If you know, we had the craziest year last year. I had the craziest year last year, and I wanted to not do this release, but something said, keep going, keep pushing. So we here, and that's why I said this is more than a release. This is a celebration because we made it to 2021, and we're here. And I am blessed. I have Zane in the building. I have Victoria Christopher Murray in the building. Do y'all know how happy I am? Okay. So what you want to do first? I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Wizard, Dr. Keisha Wizard, but I pen under the name Keisha Star. I'm a New York Times bestselling author. I'm a mother of two. I'm a publisher. I'm a expressive writing facilitator. You name it. If it has something to do with writing, I'm there. And I think the next two people don't need no introduction, but I'm just going to ask them to introduce themselves anyway. You can take it, Ms. Zane.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Zane, and I am also a New York Times bestselling author of 38 books. I'm currently writing 39, 40, and 41.
What you say? 38, 30, and 9. Okay.
I'm writing 39, 40, and 41 right now.
That is
I also run 5 imprints at Simon & Schuster, under which I have published over 120 other authors, including people like Ray J, Keith Sweat, Judge Mathis, and long list, Marion Barry, Omar Tyree. I have had 2 very successful cable television shows, Zane's Sex Chronicles and Zane's The Jump Off. And my movie Addicted was #1 per screen opening weekend when it came out. And I directed 2 movies. I wrote, produced, and directed 2 movies in 2020. I was going to do 4, but because of COVID, I only got 2 done. I'm planning on doing the other 2, hopefully this year. I am definitely in the middle of pre-production for a reality show that I'm executive producing and directing in Houston in March. We start filming in March. And let's see. That's about it. I mean, I got a lot going on.
You said that's about it. Listen, I did mine.
But I'm very glad to be here. Yeah.
I said my accolades. I was like 30 seconds. And so next, I'm going to bring in Victoria Christopher Murray. Please tell him. You're muted. Let me make sure that you're unmuted.
Okay, am I muted?
No, you're off now. You muted again.
Muted.
Hold on.
It says the host has muted.
You good now.
Okay.
You good now.
Okay. So really, I have to go after Zane. Hi, Zane.
Hi.
And so, really?
Yeah, we didn't get to do Essence last year.
Why you think I went first? I wasn't going after.
So I'm Victoria Christopher Murray. So happy to be here to celebrate Keisha. And I'm an author as well. I'm the author of 30-something novels. I stopped counting after 30. I'm presently writing something called the 7 Deadly Sins series. And we just wrapped up today. The second movie. Today, Lust rap.
Could you just let them know some of the names that are starring in your movie, please?
Yeah, so in Lust, it's Kerry Hilson, Tang, Tobias. I posted on my Facebook page, The Men of Lust.
I seen that.
And
I seen that.
People were like, really? I'm not lusting. I'm not lusting. I'm not lusting. And then in Envy, we have, I believe you pronounce her name, Soraya from Empire.
Wow.
And Candy Burris from Escape or The Real Housewives.
Yes.
And Hosea Sanchez. So a nice group.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so
Thank you so much.
Envy wrapped 3 weeks ago, like way before Christmas, and Lust ran into some issues. We had to shut down twice, and so we just wrapped today because Kerry Hilson had to leave to go straight to another shoot.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So they had to make it happen, and she's the star. She's the main character.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I just want to just thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. You know, I'm going to get into, a little later, we going to get into everything. But first, I want to tell you all to stay tuned because we're doing cash giveaways. We're doing a lot of prizes, and you really want to stay to the end because we got a great prize. So first, I guess I'll start off by just discussing the Jamaican Me Go Crazy series. I received questions about, you know, what is it about and who inspired me or what inspired me to write the book. So first I can say that because of people like you guys, I was inspired to write a book. And I remember one of the first books I picked up was The Coldest Winter Ever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wait a minute, you can write this? I can write, because I'm from Park Heights, you know, Baltimore, Maryland, Park Heights. Okay, so when I was reading the book, I was like, well, this is Park Heights. It seemed like Sister Soldier just walked down the street. So, and I never knew there was a genre for us.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I picked up Nikki Turner's A Hustler's Wife, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then I don't mean no harm, but Zane, them sex chronicles. I was like, wait, women, we can write about sex. We can do this and not be judged, you know? And I literally picked up and I started to purge. I was writing and I had no clue what I was doing. I'm gonna tell you that. My first chapter probably was 100 pages itself on Jamaican Me Crazy. But I was just purging and getting it out. And it took about 5 different drafts of Jamaican Me Crazy and a great editor. I'm not going to tell y'all who this editor is. Yes, I am. Victoria Christopher Murray edited my book. And I remember me feeling like, okay, this book is, you know, this is it, you know. And I sent it over to her and she's like, I love it. And then when I got it back, it was just red. And I was like, wait, did she change the color to red? And she's like, no, you got to fix this. You got to fix that. You got to fix this. So I just say that's what inspired me. Great authors, as you see in front of you, is who inspired me. But the series Jamaican Me Go Crazy, which started off, is about a young lady named Jamaica who was born into a family of hustlers. Her mother was a hustler. Her father was a hustler. And she watched that. And although they tried to protect her from that life, they lied to her about certain things, thinking she wasn't smart enough to catch on. She knew what they were doing. And by the time they, you know, sometimes you got to walk a little crooked to get straight. You got to do a little wrong to get right. They got themselves together. They became business moguls in their community. But it was already too late because Jamaica had already witnessed a lot. So Jamaica had her fair issues of things that she wanted to change. And she had a friend named Maisha who also had some issues going on. And so Jamaica told Maisha, look, we need to come up with a business that's sure to give us some money. So the two of them came up with a very risque business that really made them some money. You know, they took over the streets of Baltimore. But we know just from being an urban, you know, living in an urban community, that when money and fame brings on envy, it brings on greed. And so in part 1, you know, family and friendships get put to a test. And, you know, a family is put to a test. So if you read part 1, you know everything that went on. And you also know that when a young lady tried to live a fast life, she encounters a lot of things as well. And so in part 1, Jamaica encountered a lot of things, and so did her family. And it ended on a note where she was kind of on the brink, like, I'm going to change this. I'm getting everybody back. You know, I'm getting my life back in order, and I'm dealing with everyone who created this problem for me. In part 2, I can just tell you guys, I became a fan of my own self. And this, you know that, Victoria, I wrote the book, and just reading it back, I was a fan of my own self, because I was like, wait, when I read it back, I'm like, I wrote that?
Yeah.
And I can tell you guys, it's not going to end like you think it's going to end. And
it's not going to begin like you think it's going to begin.
Yes.
I think one of the things that, and one of the things, before I forget, I want to say something about Zane, because Zane is known for Addicted, which was my first Zane book, and the Sex Chronicles and everything. People need to also talk about one of my all-time favorite books, not favorite Zane books. One of my all-time favorite books is Afterburn.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
You remember, Zane, I called you up?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I called you up after that book. And so I think people don't know that you have a broad spectrum of writing.
Abroad.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm eventually going to do something with Afterburn. A little trivia. Afterburn was actually supposed to be the first ever scripted series on BET. When Reginald Hedlund was the head of BET, was running BET, and I had written the Bible for the first 13 weeks of the show. It was going to be a 5-night-a-week like soap opera drama. We were picking directors, doing all that, and then Reginald left.
Wow. Well, I called Zane. I had read all the other books and everything, but I called her. I remember where I was. I was in the car to call her to say this was the bomb, and people didn't know. The people don't know the width, the bandwidth of your gift.
Thank you.
And so, speaking of the bandwidth of a gift, reading you, Keisha, and editing you, I don't know anyone who puts as many twists and turns in a book than you do.
It was a lot. Yeah, it's good though. Yeah, it's a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where you don't know which way it's gonna go. So when you say people don't know how it's going to end, people don't know what's going to happen in the middle.
Right. They don't. But you know, that's how I think that's because I wrote how I wanted to read. You know, like I don't want to know what's going to happen at the end. And even with Jamaican Me Crazy, I think even with the end, I had to realize that no, you're not. These people are not related to you. These are characters in your book. Don't fall in love with them. Make real shit happen. Excuse my French, you know. And so what I did was just wrote what I knew. You know, and from your guidance, I was able to produce 2 great things, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, honestly. So I'm going to read some excerpts from the book, and you know what I'm going to do with this, Victoria? I want it because everyone has a perspective, even the villain, right? The villain have a reason for why they're doing what they're doing, and they believe in it. So I already told you guys pretty much what happened to Jamaica. So the story opens up with, and I'm going to read Jamaica's perception so you can understand the things that she does in this book, why she doing it.
And you're reading it from part 2?
I'm reading from part 2, chapter 1. And I'm just reading the first page. I'm not giving you guys anything. Thinking back on everything that I've been through this year, I truly didn't give 2 shits about who got hurt in my crossfire. In war, there are casualties. So if you go to war against me, everyone around you needs to be suited and booted. I've been physically and emotionally abused by my first love, and the second nigga that I gave my heart to was currently engaged to Nina, my homegirl / employee. Yes, I said employee, because the scum bucket worked for me selling pussy, unbeknownst to my gullible ass ex-boyfriend who believed that she was a registered nurse working a night shift. You know that. Let's see what else. Oh, hell. I walked in on my father fucking my Aunt Pam in my mother's bed, and now my parents are going through a nasty divorce that I'm in the middle of. To top it off, I helped my best friend, Maisha, get on her feet. And as soon as that bitch's stiletto touched the ground, she stepped off on me and started walking with my enemies. I had a lot on my plate, but trust and believe I will handle them all, starting with this big bastard right here. Who was I referring to? I was talking about Deshaun, my ex-fiance and the first dude I ever loved. He was the biggest threat of them all. So it was only right that I take his ass out first. As the old saying goes, cut the head off the snake and the body will die. Deshaun represented the head of all my problems. So I was nipping his ass in the bud. Then I could deal with the smaller things later. So, you know, Jamaica had already started off. Like, she came in this book venting, you know, from everything that took place in part 1. She came out venting. So you know what? Before I read the next one, I think I want to give away.
I
want to give away something.
Because let me just say, my kids are in the kitchen and they haven't even read part 1 yet, and they looking like this the first part of part 2.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
So guys, yeah. So what you giving away? What we doing?
You know, let's see. We're in a pandemic. Somebody probably needs some cash. I'm gonna give some cash away. So ask a question. You can ask a question, and whoever answers it first correctly, I'm gonna ask my team. Someone take notes of whoever answered the question first, and we know who can get this cash. If your name is called, then you can inbox me and send me your cash app or however I can deliver the money. If you don't have one, then you can get a copy of the book the first one that I ever self-published by myself, which is Diary of a Boss Chick, with Monique Hall. Shout out to Monique Hall. She's another one that should have been on here. And I'm gonna talk about her a little later.
Okay. So the first giveaway, the first person to answer will be the winner, and the admin team will see it in the chat. So what neighborhood did Jamaica's family originally live in? You can give us the neighborhood or the street. Or maybe it's the boulevard, maybe it's the avenue. What is it?
Well, first of all, if you know me, then you already know.
Ma'am, don't give away the answer.
I'm not.
But that was a good clue. That was a good clue.
Very good.
That was a good clue.
Where did Miss Star run these streets at in Baltimore?
So, on my next reading, I wanted to read Deshaun's perspective. Deshaun, if you read the first book, you know.
He's crazy.
He's crazy, and you will see him as a villain.
I was shocked by him. Like,
was shocked.
When he put them hands on her.
Yeah, I was shocked by that.
At school, yeah, when she got out of class. Mm-hmm.
And mind you, I work at the university, so in my head, I'm just envisioning them in the parking lot. And no, don't do that.
But this is real life. And you know what? And it's bad. We don't support abuse or anything, but even an abuser feel like they have a reason in their mind. And mental health is my field. You know, I have my PhD in human services, but my specialization is in couples and family systems counseling. And I can tell you, when you talk to someone who is dead wrong, they have a perspective and they have a reason why they think it's justified for what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna read excerpt from Deshaun. In this scene, Deshaun is speaking to Jamaica after she did what she did to him in the last scene of this book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is Jamaica starting off to him. Are you going to sit here and play the victim when you're the one who fucked my life up? Do you know the hell you put me through because I asked for a little space? I was young and confused, but I still loved you. I tried to reach out to you after our breakup, but you were being the controlling, stubborn bastard that you are. You weren't looking for a wife. You were looking for a puppet you can control, and that's not me. Deshaun stared me down as if I had said something totally off the wall. He shook his head and snickered. Wait, I fucked your life up? Is that what happened? Because I recall this differently. I remember a little ass girl lying about her age and putting my freedom at risk. I tried to walk away, but she convinced me it could work out. And she said she would never deceive me. But as soon as I tried to make our relationship official, when she finally became an adult, she broke off our engagement and then got me arrested. I didn't want to get you arrested, But I had to because shut the fuck up, Deshaun pointed his finger in my face. I used to hear you on the phone with your stripper ass friend Maisha talking about how you wish you were out having fun with her. I tried to show you the lifestyle she was living wasn't for you because you deserve much more. I proposed to you so that you knew our relationship was solid, unlike your friends who were out in the street fucking and sucking for $1. Then after accepting my proposal and spending thousands of my money on a wedding, you decided to break that shit off on my voicemail. On my motherfucking voicemail, he screamed. So, as you can hear, Deshaun has his own reason, again, for feeling like he was the one that was crossed. If you read part 1, then you know. You know.
And you did a good job of that. You do a very good job of the why. Why every character is doing what they're doing.
Yes.
I try. Because I don't want characters I don't want them just be there for no reason, or I don't want to just have something there or something just happen just because it seems fun to put in a book.
Yeah.
Should be a reason why.
Always.
To me, with Deshaun, it kind of showed how communication lacked.
Yes.
Because he in his head, he felt deserted.
Yes.
And caused his reaction. But it was just a matter of you didn't pick up the phone to hear the why.
The why.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the winner of the first giveaway was Coco Hudson. I hope I'm saying that.
Hey, yes, that's my girl Cakes. Y'all have to listen. Follow her and check her out. She has some nice lingerie, some nice her dinners, everything. Y'all be sure to follow that page. Okay, I'm not lying about that. And Jamaica would wear some of Cake's lingerie. Make lashes, you name it. So
congratulations, Coco. Just send your Cash App to Keisha's inbox and we'll take care of you.
Okay. So do you want to read another one or you want to
I don't know. Let's take a little break. Tell us what inspired you to write this. What inspired you to write just Jamaican Me Go Crazy, period? What
theory of it? Because by the time, like I said, I was inspired by great writers, and by the time I went to write, I just write what was inside of me. In my mind, I didn't even know what I was doing. So I was telling people I'm free writing, and I was explaining to them, well, I just get behind and I just write and I just let my mind go free. And I was around another author and they said, oh, you do a stream of consciousness writing. And I was like, no, I'm free writing. And he said, no.
I like that.
Stream of consciousness. I didn't even realize what I was doing was something because like I said, I wasn't in this field. I just felt the need to write and I wanted to purge and I just really got it out of me. And just got it out.
I like that stream of consciousness writing. That's cool.
Yes.
That's cool. So I'm quite sure you get this a lot. So we had people sending questions to ask you, at the time. So, and this is something that, I've wondered myself. So based off of the title, the Jamaican roots highlighted in part 1, was the character Jamaica about you or someone close to you? Like, Jamaica, you know this girl?
You want to know, sir? You want to know if me or Jamaica in the book?
I'm gonna say you wrote that dialect too well.
In the book, right? I'm gonna say yes and no, because Jamaican Me Go Crazy is an urban fiction. However, I did incorporate some creative nonfiction into the book because I use writing as therapeutic. It's therapy for me. And I've been through trauma in my life. So if you read part 1, I think you would know about Uncle Milk, who betrayed the family and came in the family and attempted to kill Jamaica and her family. That happened to us. In my family, we had someone who I called Uncle, betrayed my family, and he came to kill my family, and he actually he did it. I woke up one morning and 2 of my uncles were murdered, my aunt, my godfather, his girlfriend. And unlike, that's what's good about writing. In writing, you can create your alter ego and you can do stuff. So I wasn't able to save my family. So in that scene, Jamaica was able to save her family. So you see that weave throughout the book. So no, it's not about me. No, it's not about my life per se. It's not that. But if some things that's happening in there, it may be from something that I see, something living in, Baltimore, or just maybe something that I know that's really happening. Because I try to make my books as authentic as possible. So for me, it was just making sure that everything in it, although it may sound wild, it was something that I could back up and say, oh, this could happen, because I know it could.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. All right, so the last question before we go into the next excerpt reading.
Okay.
What has Dr. Starr accomplished since Jamaican Me Go Crazy Part 1?
Oh my gosh, so much. I can say since Jamaican Me Crazy Part 1, of course, I started my publishing company for Part 1, but I hadn't a clue what I was doing. So I've been more business minded. I have a mentor, Miss Victoria Christopher Murray, who I can now go to and say, yes, you have to find someone who knows the business. I also, I had my master's, but I think I told you I got my PhD. So I launched my own practice. It's called Write for My Soul, WRITE for My Soul. And what I do is expressive writing facilitation. And basically, I use writing to help people heal from their trauma. And within that, I do one-on-one, and I also do group sessions. Where I made, like right now, I'm about to have one starting with Arlington Elementary School, working with parents. Then I'm going to go into the school system and into the classroom and work with children, whether it's anger management, trauma, mental health issues, or just preserving your psychological sanity. I think writing is so resourceful and can help with so many things. I also have an online course that will be open in spring of spring of this year. And that online course will basically walk individuals through step-by-step process of just confronting their trauma and healing from their trauma, and then teaching them the basics of drafting their own narrative, their own creative or nonfiction book, and how to publish it. So my tag is, I help you turn your pain into payments. And that's what I want to do. So, take back the power from whatever trauma you have, and if you want to share it with someone so that they don't follow in your footsteps or they can learn from your experiences, go ahead and write that. And why shouldn't you be paid for doing it? So that's what I teach.
I love that. Writing therapy. I love that.
That's great.
Yes. Thank you. We have documentaries that we're working on now. At first it was called My Life is an Urban Book, but I didn't want to be locked into urban. So it's now called My Life is an Open Book. It's basically based on people whose life is either crazy as these stories we write or more, And I have some friends whose life is crazy, just like mine. And I've been having people come to me. It's like, oh my God, you need to write my life story. I want you to help me write my life story. And it's like, how about we document it and then I help you write your own life story,
Right.
And we do it like that. So that's what I've been doing so far. You can actually see this on my website. It's extraordinary.com. And I know it's spelled funny, but I tried to play on the word star. It's EXSTARDINARY.com.
Oh, wow.
I try to keep everything with Star because Star was a name I was given because I was a heavy girl. I was 300 pounds. And so one day I was cracking on my cousin, and I'm real quick with the mouth too. So I gave him a crack and he hit me back and he called me Star Jones, right? He was like, go ahead, looking like Star Jones. And so I said, I am Keisha Star. I said, call me Keisha Star. Call me Keisha Star. And then, music. I was born into a family with music. And my parents had the first reggae band in Baltimore. They recorded out of Bob Marley studio and everything. And they did the worst thing by bringing me on stage one day. And I actually sung. And so I wanted to be a songwriter. And so behind the scenes, I was writing and doing a lot of writing. And then it was like, why are you paying people to record your song? Go record it yourself. And I did it. And somebody sent it to Def Jam for the writing. But Def Jam called me back thinking it was for me. And, they was like, well, what's your name? And I was like, Keisha Star. And that's how it sticked. And so even now, I still do ghostwriting, for songwriting. So if you ever need that, I'm here for that too.
Oh, great.
I'm gonna go into the next reading. So we heard from John, we're from Jamaica. Now I want you guys to hear from Maisha and the Las Chicas. Okay. In this scene, they are hiding behind Jamaica Bay, conducting business, and they don't want her to know about it. So Maisha starts singing. Remember, ladies, the sale tonight stays between us. No one is to mention these new clients to Jamaica because she's going to be pissed and want to cut. Why you keep bringing her name up, Samantha X, looking annoyed? She's never been the boss of me, and I damn sure ain't giving her none of this money. I'm not scared of her. I said the same thing, Nina interjected. I'm the one who put her on with all of this, and she invaded my territory, started a whole operation, then had the nerves to invite me to come work for her. The only reason I stayed is because of Maisha. The ladies stared at Maisha like she was an idiot. Even with all her accomplishments, they still perceived her as Jamaica's gullible sidekick. I know you all been warning me, but I had to find out Jamaica for myself. She was my best friend for years, and she's always been there for me and my family. She was a good friend before the money got involved. I guess money is really the root to all evilness. Nina stood up and started marching. Attention, about face, dismissed, she yelled like a drill sergeant. She turned to Maisha. Jamaica always had you playing follow the leader, even when you were in elementary school. It was always about her, and you were like the honorary tag-along toy soldier. She helped your family so you could be in debt to her. Look how she switched up on you when you got a car and a place of your own. She barely talked to you after that. Let me get to Maisha closing it out. Maisha said, I don't need to be warned about Jamaica. I've been sitting pretty, allowing her to do all the work so I can take over. I'm the one making bank deposits every day. While she can only make them when I decide to break her off. So who's the toy soldier? Maisha stood and started marching in place. Damn sure ain't me. I'm my own boss, Samantha proclaimed. Bitch, we all bosses, Nina added. If you ladies paid attention in high school history, you will remember the story of the Trojan War. I'm playing that same role to get behind Jamaica's wall to bring her down. And that's Maisha. So you hear Maisha and the rest of the Las Chicas perspective. And I think with that should be, you guys can pretty much get an understanding of what's going to go down in the book. Everybody has a perception. And I have one more to read, but I want to give something away.
All right.
Give something away. You can ask the question.
All right, so for our second giveaway, let's see which one. Well, if they were really listening, I mean, it's a piece of cake.
I hope they were.
What's Jamaica's best friend's name? Somebody,
First one to type it.
Hello.
Jamaica's best friend. The first one to type it.
Hello. I'm trying to look this time. Okay, well, someone will tell us. So Jamaica's best friend name for giveaway number 2, but please stay till the end because
we have some good giveaway.
Giveaway, I'm telling you.
We had a couple questions for Zane and Victoria.
Yes.
I asked for questions, and I had to say, excuse me, it is my brother. They was like, girl, go ahead. We trying to like.
So, Victoria, I'll start with you this time.
Okay.
Let's see. What risks have you taken with your writing, and how have they paid off?
Oh, that's a good question. When I first started, people put me into a genre.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wrote to a genre. I was writing from my heart. So whatever came out just came out. So I was put in a Christian fiction genre with my first book. And then when I wrote my second book and my third book and my fourth book, I started getting hate mail from Christians because they were like,
I bet you they was.
And seriously, some people were calling me the Zane of Christian fiction. That's how they
I dare you do a sex
scene. I was called
scene.
2 names. I was called the Zane of Christian Fiction or Baby Zane or something like that. I was like, and so, but I stayed true to that. I stayed true to whatever was in my heart to write. I didn't back away when people started, when I started getting hate mail. I stayed to write what I was going to write. And that's paid off. Because some people still call me dad. Other people say, oh, she left that a long time ago. Or people just say it doesn't matter. It's just, I want to read her books. So the lesson in that is just be true to who you are. And that doesn't mean that you can write, don't stay in one genre. Don't just write what's in your heart, because I don't think what comes out of your heart is in a genre.
Right.
Very good, very good. And even the name.
I always felt that I didn't want to be locked in urban fiction. I said I didn't want to be locked into urban fiction because I have a lot of other books in me. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, just write what's in your heart, and if they all come out the same way. But I think when you grow, they don't come out the same way. A lot of us are talking about Eric Jerome Dickey this week, and where he started as a writer, writing a lot of relationship types of books, to where he ended up with international espionage and all kinds of things. And if he had just stayed where he was, it doesn't give writers a chance to grow.
Definitely. Oh, thank you. So what book are you reading now?
What book am I reading?
Yeah.
I'm actually reading a book called Favorite Son by Tiffany Warren. I'm at the very end, and I'm getting ready to read Cast by Isabel Wilkerson.
All right.
Well, you told me that too. I remember you asked me, and I said I don't like reading when I'm writing because I don't want other people's thoughts in. And you was like, no.
Well, a lot of writers say that. A lot of writers say they can't read while they're writing because they don't want another writer's thoughts to get in, or another way, the way a writer writes. Yes. It has never affected me because I have my own voice. Yeah. And what I told you, Keisha, was that I felt your voice was so strong, I couldn't imagine somebody else coming in. But if you don't feel comfortable, then don't read.
No, I took your advice. And I've been able to read. So it has been working. I actually took your advice and was reading your book.
Oh, okay. But I was saying it because it depends on the person. Yeah. Because I know Timothy McCann used to say he cannot read while he's writing. My problem is that I'm always writing and I love to read. So I'll be in trouble. I will be in trouble if I can't read while I write. But my voice is so strong, nobody else's voice is going to get in.
Okay.
I'm glad I took that from you.
Very good. Okay, so Miss Zane, what 3 tips would you give an aspiring author?
Oh, wow. Okay, well, Victoria already said one, staying true to yourself. I think too many people try to emulate other writers thinking it's going to make them, sell more books or stuff like that. But the thing is that writing trends change all the time. And genres that are popular change all the time. So my thing is walk in your own truth and in your own passion. Because for me, I can't say I can't because I've done some ghostwriting, but for my own books, I have to write about something that's very meaningful to me. And if I don't feel like I'm caught up in the characters and living and breathing the characters, like when I'm writing, I start literally those characters live with me. When I lay down and close my eyes at night, I'm thinking about what they're going to do next, and I get up in the morning. So stay true to yourself and don't try to copy anyone else. The second thing is don't stress yourself out trying to write. A lot of people if you have a deal for publishing house, there are deadlines at some point. But outside of that, even with that, don't stress yourself out trying to meet, a deadline.
Yeah.
Because that's only going to make, you won't put forth your best effort, doing that. And I guess my third tip would be, because I have a lot of tips, but my third tip would be don't include a lot of fluff in a book. And what I mean by fluff is it's okay to go off a little bit off the storyline and have some minor subplots and stuff. But a lot of people, like, you have a good idea about something or you witness something, you're like, oh, that'd be great in the book. If it doesn't fit in, don't try to force it into whatever you're writing. Save that for another day. Come back to that. You might be able to take that one thought and formulate a whole nother book around it. But don't just put a lot of fluff. When somebody's sitting and watching television or watching a movie and they start, their attention drifts off because it goes in a totally different direction. They just want to get to the point, or people fast forward through stuff to try to get. This could be the same thing with a book. You can lose a reader if you go too far off the path of the main storyline.
Yeah.
So it's very important to not do that and put a lot of fluff in there just to try to get a certain amount of words, or just because you think it's cute. If it doesn't fit in there, then don't put it in there.
All right. I see. My good friend Michael Wells said, how do y'all come up with what y'all want to write about?
Victoria, you want to go first?
I think that somebody once told me that they think writers' brains are.
Oh, we lost her.
Second, we lost her.
Well, I can go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So, people have told me that writers' brains are like cameras, and that all through our life we're just going around and we see things and we take pictures, and then when we sit down to write and we come up with an idea, all these things are already inside of us. And so we just come up with these ideas. And I used to think, oh, that's interesting, except I think that happens.
It's that's why I told you I purged.
It's something already inside of you and it already comes out. I also believe that when you're given a gift, you're given the gift completely. And so not only are you given the gift to write, but you wouldn't be given a gift to write and then not given any stories. So I never have to search for stories. They're like already inside of me.
Right. I agree. And I actually have given a lot of my author storylines because I just have so many storylines in my head that I know I'm never going to write them. So I really literally give people storylines for books. But for me, it's everything that Victoria said, but it's also, I tend to write about something that I'm very passionate about at the time. Like when I wrote Afterburn that she's talking about, I had originally written the first half of Afterburn, but I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. So I put that book aside. It originally had a different name in the beginning. And I put the book aside after about 40,000 words. I just stopped writing it because I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. And then a couple of years later, a lot of people around me started dying very, very young. And that's when, and then, throat's dry. A friend of mine named Kevin Shiflett, he died when he was, he made it to his 30th birthday, but he was born with sickle cell disease and was sick his whole life. And they had told his parents that he probably wouldn't live past the age of 4 or 5. And when he died, I'm sorry about that. I'm not upset. My throat's dry. When he died, that did something to me because Kevin, even though he was sickly his whole life and in and out of hospitals and stuff, I had never seen anyone appreciate life as much as he appreciated it. And the fact that he made it to that age, and then died. So actually, every time I sign Afterburn, that's how I sign it. I say, appreciate life as much as it appreciates you. I have different ways the way I sign each book, and that's the way I sign that book. So for me, it's stuff that I noticed, that's going on. Like my book Vengeance, I wanted to write a book, even though people say it's erotic, it's really like suspenseful erotic or whatever, but at least that's what they call it. But for me, I wanted to write a book about the generational curse of mental illness in African American families, and how if it doesn't get addressed, like at that time I was noticing a lot of people around me, some of my friends and relatives, that didn't get help for what they needed when they were younger. And I started to see stuff manifest in their children. It may not be the same thing.
So we call that generational.
Yeah, so in the book, the main character has one thing. She has intermittent explosive disorder. Her mother was a paranoid schizophrenic, and her grandmother had a different thing. But I wanted to really cover that. And at the time, and then Vengeance also, her best friend, the woman that kind of saves her, takes her under her wings, is actually transsexual. And I wanted to do that at the time. I decided that because at the time, when I wrote their book, there were a lot of stories in the news about transsexuals being beaten up or murdered just because people couldn't accept who they were. So I wanted to show that they were people too.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So, each book, like Total Eclipse of the Heart, I had a lot of people coming to my book signings who were disabled, and people email. I knew I had a lot of fans with disabilities. And I remember being at a book signing, and this whole group came. They had their caregivers bring them so they could take pictures with me. And they were male and female, white, black, Hispanic. And, that really meant something to me. So I decided to write a book. With Total Eclipse of the Heart, I did two things. I wrote a book about a main character that had a physical disability. And I also wrote a book where I never described the main characters, and people didn't realize to the end it was an interracial couple.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote at the end, if you had known that all along, would it have affected the way you read it? Would it matter? And so even to this day, people ask me, who was white, who was black, was it Brooke, was it Damon? I won't ever answer.
So it was like thought provoking. I'm glad. You know what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
why
my editor was like, you didn't describe them. And I said I did that on purpose. I wanted to write the whole book. Like I was like, he's a trophy husband. He's fine. All her friends thought he was fine. I described it, but I never, described their skin color, their eye color, or anything like that. So people, because my whole point was a lot of times they believe that other, readers of other colors can't appreciate a black book. Where we read a lot of white books and read a lot of white movies and stuff. I wanted to show that a good love story is a good love story, no matter who it's about. So that was, in other words, I challenged myself, with each book.
And they wonder why I try to see. That's what I surround myself with greatness. I'm not lying, because you learn from seasoned writers like you guys. And I love that concept, what you said, how I wouldn't even think to do that. Don't write a description, because as a writer you think about, you have to be descriptive. You have to describe the scenery, you have to describe the person, his physique, he was look like this and that. I never thought about that. I have one person,
but Zane did that for a purpose,
right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have that purpose, describe. But she did it for a purpose, not
for a reason.
Yeah.
Yes. So don't just jump in your book and don't describe everyone. Have a purpose that she did.
Yeah. So
I just wanted to see if I could pull it off. Like with my book Nervous, and I'm gonna be quiet. With my book Nervous, I wanted to see if I could write a book about one woman who was nervous around men, was a virgin, didn't even talk to men, went to work, came home, and another woman who was a self-proclaimed whore. And the kicker was, who would do anything, would go in a mattress store, have sex with the worker there, would go in the grocery store and seduce the butcher. The key was they were both the same person. I wanted to see if I could pull that off. She had multiple personality disorder. And I wanted to see, but my whole point in the book was to see who women liked more, because I believe there are two sides to every woman. The woman we feel we have to be because of societal standards, worried about being judged, worried about what people would think, being responsible. So that was John Cornette in the book. But Jude, the other one, she didn't care because she wasn't a real person. Yeah,
that's why she was her alter ego, probably.
Right. And so that I believe there are two sides to every woman: the woman that we feel like we have to be, and the woman we would be if we didn't have to, responsibilities and had to fear about being judged. So Jude didn't care about being judged.
Yes, because it's almost like she was living like a man.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, shall we ask? I'm sorry, you was about to say something?
Yeah, we have a question in the chat.
That's what I was asking. I saw.
I'm doing Ms. Moore.
It says, when and how do you decide that a book should be a series and not a standalone book?
Most of the time,
I know for me, it was decided. First of all, when I bought Jamaican Be Crazy was one book. When I bought it to Victoria Christopher Murray, it was like this. And she was like,
you can't have a 1,200 page book. So that's your first book. Your first clue is when it's 1,200 pages. That's the first clue. For me, I'm not a big series person. I really prefer books that stand alone, so I can always try and challenge myself with new things. Because when you write a series, you're stuck in there with the people that you've already written about, and you don't grow.
Yes.
I have a series that was decided by Simon & Schuster because they said this is a good thing and it's going well with sales. So I did that. And then I'm doing the 7 Deadly Sins series now, but that's different because all the books aren't related. They're just all part of the sins. So I guess it'll just depend on, I think you tell a story until you finish telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have to tell it in one book, that's good. If you have to tell it in 2, you had to tell yours in 2 books.
You almost told me to tell it in 3, and I said, I'm tired of Jamaica. I'm over Jamaica. I want to be Jamaica. I said, I want to be Jamaica ass myself now. Like I'm
that was what she's just saying was the conversation. Because I said, I don't know, Keisha, this book is still too long. You might have to do 3. She's like, no, I'm not doing another Jamaica story. I'm tired of her.
So we not getting a part 3?
No.
I'm gonna say never. You know why? You have to read the book to find out. But do you have like Sister Soldier did The Coldest Winter 22 years ago, 1999, right?
Yeah.
And now I see that a part 2 is coming up. If you write a good book, you should be able to pick it up. Yes, it could continue. And you just never know.
Okay.
Speaking of the book, I'm gonna go ahead and read the last excerpt from the book that I wanted to share. And this is gonna come from your favorite person, my favorite person, Aunt Pam.
Yeah.
So in this scene, Aunt Pam gives Jamaica a call.
Well,
Pam.
All right. Go ahead.
Pam, get off my phone with that bullshit. I have your money. I'm living in your home. And I'm living life. What would I gain from bullying you? Bitch, I'm winning. It's not about the game when it comes to you. It's about the fame. You love making a name for yourself. You love feeling like you're untouchable. But I called you personally to let you know that you fucked with the wrong one. If you think you're a cold bitch, ask yourself this. Do you have it in you to fuck your own sister's husband? She waited for me to answer, but I didn't because I was thinking about the question and my answer was hell no. Even if Rochelle was straight and had a boyfriend or a husband, I could never stoop that low. Do you have it in you to fuck your sister's husband? Aunt Pam repeated. I remained quiet. So she answered for me. No, you don't. But I did. I fucked your father not once, not twice, but more times than a church collection plate get passed around. I fucked him in your mother's bed, your bed, Rochelle's bed, the laundry room, and on top of the kitchen counter that your mother came home and prepared dinner on. I fucked him in his office, my restaurant, and while your mother was downstairs curling hair upstairs, and in both of their cars. I fucked your father here, there, and everywhere, and the only time I regretted it was the day we got caught. And I only regretted it because I knew our little secret love affair was going to end. Rage was an understatement. I was beyond enraged. I'm going to end it right here.
That was good. That was good. I remember reading that saying, wow, she's so cold.
Aunt Pam.
That's drama.
Pam is something else. Well, we didn't say so. The winner from the second giveaway was Kay Crawford.
Okay, good.
Hey, so send us your information via Keisha's DM, and we'll get the book out to you.
Yeah, I'll make sure if you don't have part 1 to the book, I'll make sure you get that. And if not, I'll make sure you get another great prize. If you don't have part, I'm gonna still send you part 1, but just say you have it already. I'll make sure you get Diary of a Boss Chick, and I'll give you another great prize just to be sure. Or you can get some cash. We'll see. So, you want to answer if you have any more questions? I know it was some submitted questions.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, do you think that you would get along with Jamaica?
Who's the question for?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at Keisha like you go. But yeah, Keisha,
would I get along with Jamaica? You know what?
Let me put it in perspective, because Keisha now got a little bit more sense than high school Keisha. So let's say Keisha after high school. Keisha.
I can say this. Jamaica is extra. She's over the top, but she's loyal and she's motivated. She's dedicated. She won't watch her friend suffer. She's there. And she only come after you when you come after her. I can say that about Jamaica. When me and Jamaica be friends or when we get along, I think the day, like Jamaica's mouth is reckless. And I probably wouldn't be able to sit around Jamaica, but I can understand her. You get it? Like we probably won't be besties, but I would probably understand her a little more and hope she don't pop off for me.
I think
then I have to pop back.
You would be like a mentor for her.
Yeah, I can see me. I would mentor Jamaica, but then she might pop off, and then I would have to peanut butter and jelly her.
But that's part of mentoring.
Lay her out, slice her like 2 white bread, peanut butter and jelly. Because Jamaica mouth is reckless. So, like you said, I would probably try to mentor her. I wouldn't be able to probably get along with her.
Okay.
Like Maisha. Yeah. So,
Victoria, do you think you would be able to be friends with Jamaica?
I think I would, but I think it would be a mentoring kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I loved about Jamaica was she was very smart. Very smart, very ambitious. She's a businesswoman.
Yes.
And I love businesswomen. I be about your business. I liked everything about her. I didn't mind her mouth. That was, people are who they learn to be, and so that's who she was around. That's what she learned. She did have a smart mouth, but I would love to mentor her.
That's why you mentor me.
Yep. I'm sitting here saying, why Keisha don't like Jamaica?
No, I like Jamaica. What I'm saying is Jamaica
Keisha
mouth.
and Jamaica are the same person.
That's what so many people ask that, and you know what? But that's what be the run when you and somebody act so much alike.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's probably why. But that's why I said I respect and understand everything she do. But I know she might pop off because I know.
You pop off.
I know how it can get. That PhD. I always say it can stand for Doctor of Philosophy or it can stand for Paul Kite's dummy. Like whichever encounter we meet, you can get me in that role, and that's how Jamaica is. So no.
All right. So,
but yes.
Zane, do you think you would get along with Jamaica?
It's so funny because I know a lot of people, and I actually know a couple of people like Jamaica.
Yeah.
And I'm very non-judgmental, and it's so funny because I also know a Hollywood madam that I met a long time ago in Acapulco at the Acapulco Black Film Festival. She was there for the film festival. She has a lot of celebrity clients that will remain nameless. But she and I got along really well, and it was like night and day because I'm very, conservative and all that stuff. And the way that we met, I went to the breakfast buffet one morning, and I looked, and she had this beautiful lady, and it's funny because our names are on. I'm not gonna say her name, but I looked over, and she had literally looked like a handkerchief on as a shirt, and like her boobs were like hanging out. Well, so then we met. She's like, hi, how you doing? I said, hi. So then we started talking, and she was just like, I don't understand why men just want to have sex with me. And I'm like, look at what you have on.
Yeah.
So you went into a mentoring role a little bit.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have a question from the chat. So I'm gonna try to answer it, kind of sort of. Well, I'm gonna try to ask.
And I want to point out, Zay, my friend Henry Rice is in love with you. Okay, Henry has been inboxing me for you, Zane, since he knew you was coming on here. And I had a lot of male friends inbox me, says Zane got me through puberty. Like a lot of the so I want to put him out there because he's been in that chat going off.
Right.
Oh wow. Okay, come on.
Well, we have a question from Marcus. Well, and he's kind of asking. I'll just read it. He says anyone can answer this question, but do you feel like you can cater to a male audience? Because he remembers in the late 80s and early 2000s, his wife used to get all the Zane books and tell him he needed to read it, but he always replied, "No dudes read them." It's growing up in Walbrook Junction. But so I guess, have you guys, and we can start with Victoria, have you ever, talked to males and gotten their perspective on your books, and then the same for Zane and Keisha?
Yeah, I actually have. If I had to say what percentage of my readers are male based on the number of emails I get, I would say about 25%. It's that high. And especially after I wrote Stand Your Ground, which was a book about a white man killing an unarmed Black young man. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of male readers because when a man read the book, then he told his friends and they went out. So I spoke at 2 different male book clubs. So my main characters are women because the books are female driven, but I've had men enjoy them because there are male characters in there too. And most of my in some of my books, I have a male voice, an actual male character speaking.
Okay. And Zane, how does the male perspective?
Ladies, I'm the queen of erotica, so you already know. You already know. You have no idea how many men have come up to me, especially men that have been in jail before. Mm-hmm. Like you held me down.
Listen, or you helped his wife.
I have a huge male audience, huge. And actually, for my 2 TV shows that came on Cinemax, my audience, according to HBO/Cinemax, was 70% white men. So, I can tell you right now, I have a huge male audience. But I also have written many books that I either write in a male voice and a female voice. So a few of my books, the main character has been male. Like Skyscraper, Tamala's book was the main character. Actually, in Afterburn, even though Rain was, one of the characters, the main character was Yardley, because he's the one that's supposed to move on to Afterburn too. So then I had the show Zane's The Jump Off, which was about 5 men and their friendship. So men, read books.
So I hope that answers your question. Go get Zane's books and get to reading, right?
Yes. With me, I think I had a lot of men buying my book too, but I think it's because like my first series has a lot of hood. It's like stuff they can, straight hood. It's not just Jamaica. Mm-hmm. You have Deshaun, you have situations going on with Rock. You had her father, certain things that they were into. And men love sex scenes more than probably women do. They read them books and they love it, especially when there's a nice little scene in there. They love it. And so I had a lot of men who was like, oh, I love this. And I took it home to my wife. That's why I said, Zane, you probably had a lot of males who bought your book and took it home to their wife.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you how I signed the book. If a man comes up to me, this is funny. If a man comes up to me, he says, can you sign this for my wife? And I'll say, yeah, what's your wife's name? I ask him his name. And I said, what's your wife's name? So then I'll put the wife's name down and I say, make sure you F so-and-so the husband's name down into the mattress after you read this. And they just love it when they read it. Or make sure you blow so-and-so's back out after you read it.
And because that's why they're getting it.
And then if the woman asks me to sign it to her husband, or when the woman asks, then I put for the husband, that's when I do the blow the back out thing. I'd be like, David, make sure you blow, Samantha's back out after you read this. So they just
with a sense of direction.
I want you make a book out to Ty Hill when you finish messing with him. So I did have a question that was submitted for you guys as well. Well, you know what? Because I received a question too, and it was asking. And we about to close out too. I'm sorry, you guys. We're about to close out. We're going to do one more giveaway, or is it two?
Well, we have two more.
Okay, so you could do another giveaway. The last one is the big one. So you guys want to sit.
So giveaway number 3. Oh Lord, we just talked about this. So what led to the demise of Jamaican's parents' marriage? First one. Come on, put them answers in there.
We just talked about that.
We just
talked about that. And I'm looking at some of the questions that were sent over here.
Auntie was something.
And I'm asking the last questions that I know that they're gonna kill me if I don't ask before and it'll close out, and I'm gonna make sure everyone know how to find everyone. One was, what is the definition of success as it pertains to being an author? I would say success is when being an author, I think it pays the bills, and because you're doing what you do. You're doing what you love to do, and you're getting paid for it. For me, it's fulfilling your heart, and it's fulfilling your financial duties. For me, success for me. You know, like I love what I'm doing. I already feel successful right now, honestly, by having the support and love that I have for my family and friends. But once I'm able to just do it on my own, I think that's success. And I know you two are doing it on your own. So what would you?
I think everybody has their own definition of success.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
It depends on what you want to do and how you want to do it, and then whatever you define success as this year, it will be different next year. It should be, because you should be growing and you should have goals. So I don't know if there can be a single definition of success. It's whatever you set for yourself. And the reason I say set for yourself is, please don't compare yourself to someone else, because you don't know. All you see is the daylight. You don't know what someone's midnight looks like. And so don't compare yourself. Just do your own thing.
I agree. And I just love to be able to do what I enjoy for a living, because people ask me all the time, how do I do all the stuff that I do? And it's really because I don't ever feel like I'm working. The only time I feel like I'm working is when I have to do paperwork. Like, I hate doing paperwork and dealing with contracts and stuff like that. But outside of that, all the stuff that I do, I really, really love it. And I get to do everything that I naturally enjoy, for a living, and I can do it, and I don't have to do something if I don't want to do it. To me, success is being able to turn down situations you don't want to deal with.
Yes.
That's one way that I define success.
That's a big one.
You can just do what you want, and you don't have to deal with people you don't want to deal with, because that makes a big difference.
Yes. Someone else asked. Someone else, for 1 second. Okay. Someone else asked, and I'm closing it up. I just was looking at it. How important is networking with others?
Very.
Very important. Through me, I got here because of networking. I can tell you the line went down. I met Haleen. Haleen was 51 of 50 Cent's road managers. And he knew I wanted to write a book. And he said, well, Nikki Turner, 50 Cent's doing a book. Do you want to link you with Nikki Turner? At the time, as I said, I was just reading her books. I said, yes. He connected me with Nikki, and Nikki was down in Park Heights. Nikki drove down and was in Park Heights upstairs in my bed, chilling with her day with shoes off. And that led to me meeting Monique Hall. Monique Hall led to me meeting Mama D, Tashira Simmons, Charlinda, and everybody from Atlanta. And then through Monique, I met Victoria Christopher Murray. And then reaching out, and I was able to meet Zane. You have to step out there and network with other people. That's how I feel.
Yes, absolutely. Networking is very important.
I agree.
Okay, and the last question closing out is, if you could spend a day with an author, who would you choose? Wow. I mean, I just spent a day with two great authors, Zane and Victoria Christopher Murray. Sister Soldier, I would love to sit down with her. She's hard to get in contact with. But I would love to sit with her. Ty McMillan. Who wrote the Harry Potter series again? J.F. Rollins?
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rollins. I would love to sit with her. The Harry Potter series. And these two people are not authors. But I would love, listen, and I know if you guys know Candy Burrs or Courtney Kemp, who writes Power, I absolutely stalk them on Instagram. I think they're gonna block me because I leave the messages. But I would just love to sit at a writer's table with Courtney Kemp on Power, or a movie like that. I would love to sit at a writer's table, and I just admire Candy Burrs, her whole business drive, and I just love it. And then she starred in Victoria movie, and she acts, she sings, she writes, she takes care of the family. I just love everything about her. So I'm going to do the last giveaway. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't know if you wanted us to answer that because I really don't have an answer. I had like so many people.
Because we work with everybody.
Huh?
You can pick up the phone and call probably anyone.
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
How about you?
Do that. You know who I would love to learn how to write. I would love to learn how to write screenplays. And so I loved Sylvie's Love. I would love to be able to sit with that writer.
Sylvie's Love was great.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Sylvie's Love was great. Mm-hmm.
So before we close out, I'm gonna let you guys tell everyone where they can find you. I'm gonna tell you if you would like, you can get me right here on all my social media platforms. It's at Keisha Star. My email is bookkeishastar@gmail.com. You have, let me see. I should be able to put it right here too. All my information going down at the bottom.
We'll link everything in the chat. But before we close out, I think we can do the final giveaway, or do you want to wait until the after party? Because isn't Drama gonna come back?
I didn't see Drama.
Drama not coming back. I wanted to.
And that was the pre-party. So let's close it out by you guys. You can ask the last question.
Okay.
And then Dane and Victoria can just tell everyone what it is.
Well, no, let me say who won the third question. Shanae Cross. Yeah, Shanae. Am I saying that right?
How you spell it? Shanae Gross?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Shanae. Yeah, so she won the third one. So anyone that has already won, do we want to include them or do we want to not include them? What do you think?
Well, let's see. You can throw the question out.
Okay, so the final question, and with this, I mean, we want to tell them what the final. Okay, so you're getting the Jamaican Me Go Crazy swag package. You're getting both books signed by the author. You're going to get a t-shirt, and you're going to be one of the first persons inducted to the VIP book club. So with that, the question is, all right, 1 second. The question is, what's the name of Jamaica's illegal brothel? What is the name of it?
What is the name of Jamaica's illegal brothel, you guys? You should know that. Get the books.
Come on.
Get the books.
This way you
t-shirt.
How
so
Jamaican?
In closing out, you want to tell them how they can reach you?
Well, it's right there at Planet Zane. It's on my name.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, you guys. As I stated, all my information is going across. If you like, please purchase the book. The link should be inside of the comments. I had my team linking, putting the link inside the comments, but it's available everywhere books are sold. But if you would like it to be autographed by me, then you can purchase it from the link inside the bio. You can visit my website if you would like to do one-on-one writing facilitation, if you need a ghostwriter. If you would like me to write your song, if you want to be considered for my documentary, submit me your story at my email address as well. I thank you so much, Ms. Zane. Tasha, I thank you so much. I have the best team. I want to thank my family. I want to thank my Daron, Darnitris, Malia, Tasha. I want to thank Shanae and Simone for being my readers. They read the book over and over. My best friends, I love you so much. I dedicate this night to my angels, my father, Elon Wizard, rest in peace, you know, and Michelle Lauser, I love you, my sister. John Barber and Ryland JBR lives forever. I love my family. My mom, oh my God, I only have one part left, so I love on her. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it without her. My sons, Kaden and Kyron, the Hilarious brothers. Tyron Hill, I love you. My fiance. Oh, I can't close this out because the father of the family, my cousin Gary, I love you. None of this will be possible. You know, I just thank my family, my aunt. I have so much. Okay, it's so much. My whole family, but I thank you guys. Everyone who helped me to get to where I'm at today. I thank you guys. I love you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everyone. Bye.
Love you, Auntie Finchie. I'm going to stay on. You can leave there. I'm going to stay on it and then chat with some people.
You know, I'm challenged. So, okay, I see. Okay, thank you.
Play back. No. But I love you guys. So who's still on with me?
I'm here.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to, yeah, I can hear you, but I wasn't able to see anyone's the comments anymore. So I can't even see them. I'm gonna go ahead and close. I'm not seeing the comments.
You can't see what comments?
None of the comments from anyone on Facebook. So I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. But I'll be back on. I'll come under the post.
It wouldn't work. Oh no, it's back.
See you guys.
Because it's the time.